Hey there, friends, and welcome to episode number 85 of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, and I'm so crazy happy that you're here today. It's high gear time, isn't it? Are we all just feeling a little bit, a lot going on right now. So I appreciate your time and attention here with us today. We are going to talk about how to capitalize and optimize a little bit on your current customers that are already coming in the door, how you can ensure that they leave with a smile on their face, how you are remembered, and how we can get them to come back and think of us over and over again in January and in beyond through the holidays. So this is the time. You've done all the work. The inventory that you have is in. It's all ready to go. It's go time. So how can we optimize all of the people that are already coming in and all of the beautiful things that you're doing? And how can we just level that up a little tiny bit more and really see the results that you want for your customers and without working harder, just a little bit smarter? So I know you've worked hard to get all those customers in the door. So let's make sure they come back. I'm going to share with you today 4 things that you can consider doing that will help you I want all the customers to leave with a smile on their face and want to just love you to death, right? So let's get going. Grab a coffee, unpack your boxes, whatever you're doing while you listen to us. What do you do while you listen to us? I think I need to do a podcast on that, or I need to do a survey. What do you do while you're listening to the podcast? Anyhow, I'm usually folding laundry and taking notes when I'm listening to podcasts, my favorite podcasts. But here we go. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about 4 things for you to consider. Again, not adding more to your plate right now, just to level up things that you're already doing. Let's go. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. All right, my friends. So if you've listened to my podcast for a while, or if you're in my inner circle, or you've been around for a while, you know that I talk a lot about a framework called Foot Traffic Made Simple. And it's about attracting the 5 things that you need to do to continue our marketing engine, if you will. And, that is attracting, engaging, nurturing. It's making sure we have the right products and serving them properly. And the last part of that is wowing and delighting. And that is a really big part of what we do all the time. And I know that if you're listening, you're probably, somebody who actually cares, an independent shop owner who cares about what their clients think about. This is where, again, we shine over the big box. We shine over the big retailers. We shine over so many other of our competitors. If you're listening, that means you're trying to level up your business. So let's talk about the wow part and why that's important. And it's because we value our customers. This is kind of funny, but I was recently on a mission to do all of my holiday shopping, and I happened to be out of town. I was in a big city, the big little city near me. And if you know, I live in a fishing village, so I went to the big city to do some shopping. And I visited 13 independent retail businesses. And some of them, oh my gosh, the experience was so brutal. It's an occupational hazard, I got to tell you, for my husband not to he's pulling me out the door. Don't say anything, because the service or whatever. Let's remember that customers need to have experiences. This is what customer experience is, right? Products on the shelf mean nothing. So anybody can do that. I can get that on Amazon. I want an experience. So we're going to talk about how you can have your customers experience leaving with a smile on their face every single time, and the ways that we can do that. And I want that for you. I want that for your customers. And just for the record, I went to a lot of shops that were awesome too. So I didn't just go, just in case you're a lot of my shout out to the Halifax local independent retail businesses that I got to visit. It was so great. So many of you were awesome. But I had a few experiences that were just so meh. Nobody wants to have a meh experience, like a boring old blah experience, right? We want to capitalize, again, optimize with what we're already doing. You've built your business, you've done your marketing, you have the products on the shelf, you hired the right people, you're ready to go. Let's just make sure that the customer is just as happy about all of these things as you are, right? So this is the wow part of the framework. And this is a part of the wow part, is making sure that, again, we value our customers, right? We value our customers. We want to be rememberable. Rememberable is my made up word, but we want to be rememberable. We want everybody to leave feeling good. That's the whole part of this. Customers, and well, let's jump right in. The first part is creating an experience. People want to feel emotion. They want to feel something. We want to feel something. I want you to think about your favorite places that you like to shop. Like even the grocery store. When you think about the grocery store you shop in, there's probably grocery stores in your town that are like very functional, bright lights, blah, 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 whatever. Like maybe for you, you like to go to the nicer one with the pretty produce and the nice music playing in the background and the better staff, right? The staff that creates a better experience. What about the coffee shops that you choose? Is it the drive-through or is it the, maybe you go into a shop. Why? Why do you choose those places that give you an experience? What is it about them? That's what we want to create for our customers. We don't want to be the drive-through, just come in, pick it up, go kind of store. That's okay for a lot of things. But if you think about our customers and you think about what we do as independent retail businesses, we are not like, that's what the big box stores do. People just run in, pick them up, go. They don't have an experience. We want your customers to have that experience. We want them to feel something when they come into our shop. We want them to be happy when they come into our shop, right? So we want to be an escape, maybe even right now. We want them to be, we want to be the destination shop. If you listen to my podcast number 69, I actually talk about being a destination shop. So you can go back and listen to that. And it is all about creating experiences and moments and all of those things for our clients. And I'm not talking about jumping through hoops and being all, this is simplified. You don't have to go crazy. I just want you to think about the emotions that your customers feel. And again, it's not about you, it's about them. And it is about your brand, but also your proper ICA, right? Your proper ideal customer avatar, which is your customer, right? This is not just merchandising pretty stuff, right? This isn't just merchandising. This is about showing your products properly. And, maybe it's doing free demos inside your shop and getting them to touch and feel things. And one of my retailers, Amy Check from the Schoolhouse Salvage, she did a little map of her store to create a little experience because she's this giant warehouse store. And she did these little maps so that people could get around the shop, like fun, created an experience. Even those of you doing workshops, I know I have a lot of workshop and creative workshop leaders listening. If you're doing workshops, how can you just level up that workshop and make that experience that much better? A candy on your workshop table at each space versus just the expected things. What's a little bit extra thing that you can do to make them feel good, right? Maybe it's I've seen retailers do fun things like a little scavenger hunt around the shop, and this doesn't have to take forever or be really complicated. It's just thinking outside the box and how you're creating something experiential for your people, right? I have another client who has done coloring pages. I know that sounds crazy, but she's in a creative niche. So she did coloring pages and handed them out at the counter as people were checking out. And it was like coloring pages for adults. And it was like what did she call it? Chaos to calm or something. It was during the pandemic and all of these things. And I've seen retailers, and I've suggested this to other retailers, this works really well, is to having videos running in your shop with how to or Pinterest inspired boards, like running through like your favorite YouTube channel. You can create a YouTube channel. I'm probably not explaining this right if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you can have a video running on an iPad or an old monitor in your shop, and it can flip through on a YouTube channel, on a private YouTube channel that you create. It just flips through all the before and afters or inspiration or things you found on Pinterest or your, brand's different ways of using clothing, whatever. These are experiences that people remember, right? These are things that make people stop and look and smile and watch and whatever it is. Again, things like free demos. A lot of you know that I'm a big proponent of that if you can. And that's everything from food to paint to whatever. Again, experience. Your customers like just want to touch and feel and be part of and see and just get them involved in your store somehow, in your brand and your business. It's kind of fun, right? People just want to feel, I don't know, they want to feel good when they're in your shop. Number two in creating, this excellent customer experience situation with the customers that are coming in right now. Again, you've worked really, really hard to get them in the door. So how can we just level up a little bit more? The next one is, and you're going to laugh, but be super creative and clever about doing things differently. So this can be things like QR codes for special video. You could do, I have one client who put a disco ball in a very back corner. If you have those of you that know, you know what I'm talking about. You have that dark corner maybe in the back of your shop, and no matter what you do, just can't get people back there and, try the lights and everything. I have a client who put a disco ball in a back corner of an unpopular corner in her shop. And the disco ball was just so weird and clever and creative. It was just so fun. Those kinds of things, again, just standing out, being different. Maybe after a workshop, you are, throwing in a little extra thing for your customers, something of value, not so much discounting, but something extra for them. And maybe it's something that has to do with your, what you just did if they did a workshop. I've mentioned, I think Lee from the Lemonade Stand last year did a cool holiday event, and they had like Santa and Mrs. Claus. Nothing unusual about that, but they had they had a lemonade stand because her name is the Lemonade, and that. So it's just interesting. Things that you can do that just make you stand out a little bit different, something that people will remember that makes them smile, right? So again, being rememberable. Go back to episode number 5 I have on the podcast. I have a whole podcast on why it's important to be rememberable. Also, when you're talking about doing things cleverly for your clients and being clever again and creative, think of different ways that you can do something that's going to make your clients, I'm trying to think of the right words. This is how Wendy scripts her podcast. Sorry, friends. But thinking about, maybe a secret message on a QR code. I've seen that a few times. It works so people cannot resist. Like they see a QR code and you write, get your secret message here. What is that? I gotta check that out. It's gonna make me smile. Be quirky, be personable, do things fun, have fun while we're doing all of this stuff. Getting our customers to come back in January is a really big thing. And I teach this inside our holiday boot camp every year, that it's really important for us to right now invite them back into January. So we can do that with, coupon codes for, an event or plan an event in January, but dropping in bag stuffers, postcards into their bags as they're checking out, and be clever with that. I have one client, she just put a QR code on a blank postcard with her website on the bottom, and it was just a QR code, and it said, scan for fun. And I'm like, you can't not scan for fun, right? You just can't not do it. So everybody did it. And it was an invite, sign up to her email, and to get a secret invite to come back to a big party they were going to have in January, a big event she was having in January. I've seen clients do things like game pieces or puzzle pieces, and you bring them back in January. A really cool favorite that I've seen, again, creative is is your niche. I'm sure you can come up with something, but you're an entrepreneur, a self-starter, entrepreneur, creative person. But I've seen cool things like Mike Michalowicz was talking the other day about an invisible email. I thought that was so brilliant. Mike Michalowicz, who wrote all the books, Profits First and all of them. Invisible email. It's sending an email out with white type. The font was in white. And it literally said, something about an invisible email, and it was an invite to sign up for something, an event, but you could do this with your clients. I think it would be so much fun. I mean, your customers would love an invisible email, I think. Just clever. I mean, I'm throwing this out. You might think I'm a wackadoodle, but whatever your customers would find interesting or fun or, again, clever, quirky, whatever you need to do. Also, thinking about some ways that you can be, again, different than the big guys is always, this is just the way we're doing things now, right? We're already doing great things. We have beautiful stores. We are different than the Amazon, although, again, you can go listen to episode 79. There's lots of cool things we can learn from Amazon, but we want our customers to have a great experience, and that's what they're craving from us. They can just go buy things off a shelf. If we're just a store where they can walk in and pick things up off a shelf, we're not really doing our job right. So I'm just going to leave it there. But anyway, number 3 is personalizing our client's experience. So how do we personalize our experience? We're really busy. I know it's crazy time. You have lineups, but there's always moments where we have conversations. And again, unscalable conversations. I did an entire podcast on that as a marketing strategy. Well, that sounds so formal, marketing strategy, but it really is. It's a great way to learn about your customers and to understand them better and to understand where your marketing is working and not working. But those are called unscalable conversations, episode number 55. We did talk about that, a whole episode on that. But take cues from your customer. Write them hand notes if you can. I have one client, and she regularly, all of her clients, if this is possible, this isn't always going to be possible, but if you have a little note card and as you're checking somebody out, you have their name. For the most part, if they're using credit cards, you have their name. You can say, "Thank you, Susan," or you can just write "thank you." It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant. Sometimes they'll say, "Thank you, Susan," and of course, they're just doing it for a tip, but you're doing it to personalize things, right? So personalizing, thank you for for dropping in, if you can. Hand notes to thank people that have registered for your workshops or events. And if you have an email address, but better yet, if you have a mailing address and you send customers a thank you note, that blows people away. If you have the time, if you have the energy, doesn't always take as long. If you're set up for success, if you're set up for this and you just have note cards right there, you can do that really quickly. Some of your regular clients that come in, do something a little bit extra for them through the holidays. Have like little boxes of chocolates or something underneath the counter that you are handing out regularly to your regular customers, maybe with a gift card in them. We've talked about this in our inner circle. We have retailers doing this on a regular basis, to thank customers. I mean, think about how amazing that makes people feel and how seen it makes people feel. People want to be seen so badly right now, and they want to feel good about being in your shop. So personalizing where you can. I have one client that had a couple of ladies come in and they had a huge sale. They just, you guys know what I mean. Those ladies that came in, and then it was a great experience. She had a great time with them, and they said, she's like, "Where are you going next?" And, as we do, unscalable conversations. And they said, "Oh, we're heading to Susie's dress shop, and then we're going over to wherever for a cup of coffee after," and blah, blah, blah. And she called ahead to the coffee shop and she ordered some coffee on her. And when those ladies walked in, they were new customers to her shop. When those ladies walked into the coffee shop, and the coffee shop owner that my customer had a relationship with too, said, "Your coffee's all taken care of, ladies." Compliments of her shop. How cool is that, right? That's not a big giant thing. Those ladies are loyal customers now. They're telling all of their friends. They're Instagramming it. They're talking about it. They're sharing her store with everybody now, right? People just want to be seen. They want you to use their name. If at the very minimum, you just use their name that you see on their credit card, or wherever, or introduce yourself. Introducing yourself when you're a shop owner to a customer, it's unbelievably powerful. And I say that because I want you to put yourself in that position. I know this is not possible on crazy Saturdays when it's really busy, but think about those times that those clients that you are having a conversation with. You know what I mean? We've all had those conversations, and that we've kind of had maybe you've spent a half an hour helping them pick out their paint colors, or maybe you've spent 45 minutes with them outfitting them or doing all their Christmas shopping for them. Into a few minutes, it's okay to say, by the way, I'm Wendy. And they'll say, oh, I'm Mary. Oh, thank you, Mary. I'm so glad you came in today. Thank you for dropping in. Those things don't happen everywheres. And when they do, they're super powerful. And that's what makes us stand out. That's what makes us be better and level up than other places. I have another client who has she acknowledges, or she knows that people just want to be part of something. She has a giant chalkboard, and she invites clients to leave a note on the chalkboard. How simple is that? It's a big wall corner. Just leave us a little love note on the chalkboard, and people just leave cute little notes, and it's, they just want to be part of it. And she always says, sign it, and she'll watch people say, Mary, whatever. And people leave little notes for other people and that kind of thing on there. It's really cool. I have other clients who they've asked their clients if they can do workshop shares. If you're in a workshop or doing something at a DIY event, and they're like, man, I just love the way you've done this painting, whatever it is that they're doing, can I share your pictures on Instagram? Oh, yes. They just love that. They just love being part of something. People want to be seen. So remember, this is all making your customers feel good, and it's going to work for you as well, too. It's going to make you rememberable. So the last one, number 4, is the one that I should have done first, because a lot of retailers that I work with right now are not good at this. And a lot are really good at it. A lot are not good at it. They resist and they push and they have tension with this. And one of them is being adaptable with your policies and procedures. This is a silly thing, but it will move mountains in your business. So if you have a no refund policy, I want you to rethink that right now. I want you to think about it from a customer's point of view. Don't punish the many for the few who might take advantage. You might have to have you might have a few people who take advantage. There are certain things, custom work and, that type of thing. Of course, I believe in not having a refund policy, but on a regular basis, your customers want you to trust them, that they're going to be human and they're going to be cool, and they're going to trust you more if you have really good, favorable policies and procedures when it comes to business. So I say be professional in that. Trust your customers, trust your staff, and have policies in place. I'm a big believer in policies. My inner circle members know I'm a big believer in having shop standards and all, rules and regulations, but be flexible and adaptable to those, and think about the rules that you have in place and how they affect your customers. And now is maybe a time. I used to be a no refund person, to be honest, because it was a hassle and blah, 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 but that was about me. It wasn't about them. I want it to be about them. I want it to be about your customers. How do you think they're going to feel? And to be honest, it's going to make the sale easier. It's going to make it easier to sell if it's just a no-brainer. If they don't like it, they can bring it back. Saying things like, we don't do that, or that's not how it is here, and those kinds of things, it's just a negative. So I want you to be adaptable and think about your policies and procedures, and think about how you're problem solving for your client. This is another way that you will stand out. When clients come in and they don't, you don't have something that they need, or you're sold out, how are you handling that? Maybe we're calling around. Are we doing different things? We don't do deliveries, but, we don't do deliveries, but here's let's try to find somebody who can come pick up for you. Or we don't do pickup and deliveries. I have a lot of clients who do painted furniture and that type of thing. And personally, we didn't do deliveries. We didn't have it covered in our insurance. We didn't have the capacity to do that. But you know what? We made sure that we had phone numbers and people we could call to help our clients out when they needed it. So how are you being adaptable to your policies and procedures? And if we do have rules, we do have things that we have to have cute signs, not make fun of, but have a quirky clever and creative sign made, that does share your policies if they are something that's a little bit different. But again, don't punish the many for the few who might take advantage. Like I say, the few bad apples that, you might have, because we all have those clients occasionally come in. And what would make them fall more in love with you? That's the line. That's the thing that I always wrap around my head. What would make customers fall more in love with my store? What would make them just have a little bit next level thing? And that's to have them leaving smiling and happy and feeling good. So all of these things that I just shared, all of these, different strategies that I shared, they're all doable right now with all of the things that you're already doing, right? So maybe you might want to get some postcards printed or think of some clever QR codes. I'm not trying to add to your list of things to do as we gear up high gear right now, even more so, going into the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend and all of this. But I want you to really think about how you can make your customers smile. And all of these things really are making you Instagrammable ready. This is my new favorite thing to say. If you're doing things that are cool and fun and gorgeous, and you're in a shop and or your customers are in your shop, they're going to take Instagram and Facebook and social pictures without you even asking, right? They're just going to do it if it's cool and quirky and creative and fun and creating an experience for them and personalized. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about you. They're going to tag your store. They're going to share things. If you have that wall, the Instagram wall, that's, being Instagram ready too. But just the cool things, the way you package things, the way you do things, if you are Instagrammable ready. And again, it doesn't always necessarily, I say it Instagrammable, but it can just be, them having conversations and people talking about you and all of the things. You work so hard. I'm so passionate about this. I know you're working so hard doing all of the things to get your shop going and ready and to have a good holiday yourself. Let's optimize and capitalize and make sure that all of these things that you're already doing, we just level them up a little bit more so that the customers come back again and again, and so that they are doing the work for you. The whole magic word of, it's word of mouth. This is word of mouth. This is how word of mouth happens. It's because you do the work and you pay attention to all of these things. So I'm going to go over them really quickly again. The four, sort of check marks, I guess, if you will, are create an experience. Remember that they want to feel an emotional experience. So we can do all kinds of different things there. The second part is be clever and creative and do things a little bit differently in your signage and how you get people moving around your shop, all of those things. And personalize for number 3. We want to make sure we're personalizing, using people's names, thinking of their experience in your shop and how you could, unscalable conversations with them or paying attention to different things. What would work to personalize them for them to be seen, I guess, is really what personalization is about. And number 4 is to adapt. Be adaptable. I know the whole COVID world and all this has made us really adapt and, shift and pivot. But I want you to look at it from a point of view of your policies and procedures and how you bend and from a customer's point of view, what would make them smile? How do you resolve conflict? When a customer's in the store, how does your team do all of that as well too? And again, all of these things, they don't take time. They don't take a ton of time or a ton of money. They're just ideas for you to start implementing bit by bit and to be super conscious about as we move through this, again, crazy season that we're going through. So be Instagram ready, be Instagrammable ready. I don't know how the proper verbiage of that would be, but being ready, and all of these things combined are going to make people share and share and share and talk about you in a positive, beautiful way. I just read some studies that 30%, listen to this, 30% of customers will share negative experiences. We all know that, right? We all know about the negative experiences and all the yippity yap that happens. But the cool part was that 49% of people would share positive experiences given the opportunity. So it was a pretty cool study when I read through that. And I believe that to be true. I believe people and they're craving positive everything right now. People are craving all the positive. So they want to share, they want to be happy. And like I mentioned to you, the stores that I was in over the weekend, and a lot of them were just fine. Everything was fine. Like if the store owner said to me, well, did you not like the product? I would say, no, product was fine. Was it not merchandise? No, it was merchandise fine. Like it was just fine. It was just meh. It was just fine. Everything was fine. The service was okay. There was nothing rememberable, which is very shocking to me because I was in a few shops that I thought should be. I was really excited to go to, but they didn't wow me. I didn't feel good not that I didn't feel anything when I was in their shop. I was like, oh, this is lovely. And again, we want you to be memorable, and we want you to be rememberable. We want your customers to come back again and again. We want them to feel something when they're in your shop. And we want them to be spreading the love and spreading the word all over Instagram, social, wherever, without even asking them, just having them do that with nature. And whether they're even on those platforms or not, the concept is still the same, right? We just want to make those moments for them that are memorable for them as well, too. So sending you, my friends, a big fat kiss and love for what I know how busy it is right now. I know how crazy things are. So thank you for being here and your time and your attention, and not, just for listening to me, but for your team and for your customers. I know that patients are thin. I know you're tired. I know this is it, right? We're gearing up, right? So I just want to say, I'm sending you big love. And especially for those of you who are expecting a huge weekend this weekend, this is a huge weekend for many of you. I know that already. I know from so many of my clients, and I want to just remind you that just do the best you can. People do not know what you didn't get done. You're the only one who knows what you didn't get done. So show up with a smile, because customers do feel that when you don't have that. So show up with your smile, and I'm sending you big love for big profits this weekend and beyond, and ease for you and fun. I hope you're having fun while you're working this weekend and beyond. So next week, I'm sharing a podcast a little bit vulnerable for me, to be honest. So next week is a vulnerable post coming ahead next weekend, just a little bit on missions and whys and that kind of conversation next week as we gear up to start talking about planning for into 2022 and what do we really want, and all kinds of cool things happening in 2022, I think, for all of us. And what else? I wanted to also remind you that I mentioned a few podcasts, and a few other podcasts. We'll have all of those in the show notes for you. And a reminder, if you're in my Retailer's Inner Circle, we have a new masterclass that has come out this month, which is all about content creation, easy content creation for you. And also, next month, we have an entire planning session, easy planning session to get you geared up for what you want for 2022. If you're not a member of my Retailer's Inner Circle coaching group, reach out. There's a link in the show notes, and you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you join us. As a matter of fact, we are offering a special bonus. My team are going to laugh because I'm literally not making this up. We did talk about it, but we're going to give you a 50% off code for joining us if you want to join us this month inside the Retailer's Inner Circle. It's at wendybatten.com. Again, we'll have it in the show notes. The discount code will be podcast, and it'll just be between you and me and just our podcast listeners. So that's 50% off the first month for the Inner Circle. So don't do that very often. And this is just for my podcast listeners. If you're looking for a little bit of help, or you want more help with all of this marketing, and you want a community that's growing by the day with amazing retailers inside, I hope you'll consider joining us. I know you're busy right now, but we're there to help take a lot off your plate as well, to make things easier for you. So thank you, my friends. Again, big fat love to you. Reach out anytime, and also inside my free Rockstar Creatives group, you can join me there as well. So we'll see you soon, my friends. Have a fantastic week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you join our Rockstar Creatives Facebook group. We will continue the conversation over there weekly. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.